Hi, this is Mark McCauley. I'm Vice President Government Affairs, the Nonprofit Alliance, and this is the monthly legislative update. There's an old expression in Washington, never say never. And an example of it was just this past weekend when the Senate passed President Biden's climate, drug policy, and tax policy legislation. And the House is expected to pass this legislation later this week, and President Biden is expected to sign it into law shortly thereafter. This legislation was considered all but dead just a few months ago. So again, one should never say never here in Washington. Let me now pivot to a few legislative items that we follow very closely. One is the IRA charitable rollover expansion. Here, legislation expanding the IRA charitable rollover passed the House earlier this year and was reported out of the Senate Committee of Jurisdiction, the Senate Finance Committee, in June. The legislation is expected to go to the Senate floor later this year, and we're going to be very vigilant to make sure it passes the Senate and ultimately gets enacted into law. This would raise the cap on IRA charitable rollovers from $100,000 by indexing it to the consumer price index, in effect, the rate of inflation. So as inflation goes up, the $100,000 cap would go up. That would be very positive for our sector. Let me now mention a bill we talk about often, national privacy legislation. The House Committee of Jurisdiction, the House Energy and Commerce Committee, reported out its version of a national privacy bill in July. We had major concerns with this. It has a private right of action, which could lead to frivolous class action lawsuits. It also does not have a strong federal preemption. It actually allows 15 current state privacy related laws to remain in effect even after the federal law passes. We have major concerns with it. The bill may go to the House floor. It's uncertain, but even if it does, it's almost certain the Senate will not take this bill up this year. That said, on the privacy front, we want to be prepared for all possibilities. The House is almost certain to be taken over by Republicans in this election, but the Senate has become somewhat of a jump ball. And we're working, particularly in the Senate, in a very bipartisan manner to make sure we keep the dialogue on privacy alive on both sides of the aisle in the Senate with both Republicans and Democrats. So that's what's happening here in Washington. Stay tuned and please never say never when it comes to policy making in Washington.